Mhm. Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. Mhm. 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 Very good. Nice. Yes, Nahid, you want to share anything? Yes, please. Yes, yes, visible. Mhm. 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 Yes, yes, you're audible. Mhm. 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 Okay, perfect. Nice. Excellent. Okay. So, what Abdul Shakur was showing was very interesting, but I would want to clarify something over there. So, first we should be starting with the. We all are theoretically aware of uh, inheritance, right? Right? You all are aware of how inheritance works. So, uh, but here, before going to that topic, we'll have to first study what is an object in detail. Then only we'd be able to do justice to this discussion. So, as of now, I guess it's not the right time to discuss that. Still, you all can just park it in the parking lot. What I want to discuss: object and reference. This is what I want to teach. Discuss object and reference. These are two different things. So, once you all have clarity what is an object, then we can discuss what is a reference. As we haven't started OOP programming yet, we'll not venture into this discussion right now. So, today we can discuss the string class in the java.lang package and its method. So, string class in the java.lang package. Oh, sorry, I forgot to share my screen. Okay, now, okay, so we have the string class in the java.lang package. So, the full name of this class is java.lang.string, right? Now, what is a string? A string is a sequence of characters. What is a string? Sequence of characters. Okay, so if I have some characters in a sequence in Java, we call them as string. Or you can say it's an array of characters, like blah blah. So let's say if I have a string Alice, so A is a character at which index is A at index 0, because you all know, right, arrays they start with 0 index. And I is a C and E, and they have a base address 1000, and they have a. So see, Abdul Shakur, what I wanted to clarify to you was, this is the array which is actually occupying memory, right? So what is the size of one character, Umar? 2 bytes. So this string will take how many bytes to store? So this 10 bytes of memory which is allotted, this is allotted from the heap, right? Now this depends whether this is made using the string object or string literal, right? So where is it? Is it in the constant pool or is it outside the constant pool? That depends whether it is, this string is made through the string literal or string object. Okay. Now the reference which is pointing to this string. So when I say string name equals to Alice. So on the LHS, what we have is not the object. The LHS, what we have, so this can be split into two ways. You can use the left hand side as one and the right hand side as the other. You need to understand this in two parts. And in the middle, you have the equal to. So towards the left of the equal to, we call the left hand side, and towards the right of the equal to, we call as the right hand side. Always remember that the right hand side will be the one which occupies memory. So that is what we call as the object. The left hand side is just merely like a pointer. It's just like a pointer. You can say just the reference. Reference, or if you understand what is pointer in C, that's it. So the pointers are allocated memory from the stack, right? And the object is allocated memory from the heap. So this name is just merely a reference pointer pointing. So you're saying there are two objects, there are two objects. There were not two objects, there was only one object. The name is the reference to that object. So name, where is now name pointing to? So now as Java is a high level, as Java is a high level language, it doesn't expect us to do programming on the memory. So as human readable form, they say that okay, you can take a literal and we will point that literal to this memory. So if you want to operate on this memory, you can access via this human name literal. Okay, so that is why Java is called as a high level language, because it encapsulates the memory location for us and it gives us a reference to that memory location which we can play around with the reference. Am I understood? In low level languages, you have to go and program at the memory address itself. So you have to know at which memory location that data is stored, and you have to go and program at that memory address. But in high level languages, we have variables or references pointing to the memory. So we just have to manipulate the references. So once this object is made string object and there's a reference pointing to it. Now using this reference, I can call many methods which are there in the string class. This is what we are going to study today. Okay, so they are relatively very easy, not at all complicated, but it's a good thing to have command on those methods. Okay, some are very easy. So if I say name dot and if I say name dot length, what will this give me? The size of the string. What is the size of the string? 5. So this will return me an integer. So whenever you all discuss any built-in function, first give the function name, that the function name is length, and second is what type of value will it return. So what type of value will the length function return? Integer type. Let's check. Let's check whether it is integer type. Here all are ET001, and today is our day 7. Day 7. Let's say I'll give the name of the topic also besides that. It becomes easier to search. Day 7 string. Okay. So if I want to make a class over here, can I make string class? Will it make sense? Will it make sense? String is already a predefined class, and you're making a user defined class with the same name. Will not make sense at all. So directly what do we add before after that? I'll follow this style demo. Now means this is my user defined class, and I'll add the public static void main to it. Finish it. Okay. So string name equals to new string. So here how many objects are there, Abdul Shakur? Are there two objects? That this is the object and this is the there's only one object. Which is the object? This is the object. Yes. Which will occupy memory, and this is the left hand side is the point. It's like that is called as a reference in Java. Okay. So equal to is there, and on the LHS we have the reference, on the RHS we have the point. So you now can access this memory location of this object directly with the help of this reference, and you can call lots of functions on it now. So if I do sys out, and if I say name dot, see as I say length, see this is the return type. You see this after the colon. So what type of value the length function return? Do you see this? Integer. And if you hover on it, it will give you a detailed one. Returns the length of the string. The length is equal to the number of Unicode units in the string. See again, length in interface. So it's the interface character sequence. Return the length of the sequence of characters represented by this object. Okay. So length, and after the length, is there a bracket there or no? So this is length function or length keyword. So do you see the difference between these two styles? So what is this? This is a length keyword, this function. Do you know the difference between them? If I have a normal array in Java, if I have a normal integer array, this is how you make an array like you would do in C programming. You can unmute yourself. I can hear a lot of humming of birds in the background. So when I ask you all to speak, you all can just unmute for 5 seconds, give your answer, and again unmute, again put it on mute. So this is a normal array which we make in Java. Now, how many characters are there in, how many integers are there in this array? So for that, to find the length of an array, we have the length keyword. Which keyword? Yeah. So to find the size of array, we have length keyword, and to find the length of a string, we have the length function. Remember this. And to find the size of a string, we use the length function. So what if I want to show this array contains five numbers? What will I show? Length keyword or length string? See, length keyword, right? This is the length keyword, the length string. Both will output me 5, right? So I can say over here, length function of string class, which, so whenever you are discussing a predefined class, if you can add the package name, nothing like it. So which string and the length keyword. So let's save this and let's run and check. So it should show me 5 2 times. Okay. Yes, no, maybe. Okay. So here if I check. Now what would be the size? 5 and 3, 8. 8 and 1 space 9. So how much? 9 and 9 and 5. If I make this 3 there, okay, got it? Very good. So this is one of the most widely used function of the string class, that is the length. Okay. Then you have a function called char at. So how do you think I'll write char at, like this or like this or like this? A, B, C. See, right? Because functions we write in camel case. So function char at is, so char at, you give it the index, it will give you the character at that index. So for Alice, if I say 3, char at 3, which is at index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, C is there at index. Indexing starts from 0, right? Not the position, not the position, the index. So what will this give you? Char at. You give the character, you give, so okay, so you can think of char at it like this. What will it take input as? And it will give you the character. Okay, so it will give you, you take the input, give it to the char at, and it will give you the character, right? Similarly, you have one more function, just the reverse of it, just the reverse of it, that is index of. That is what? So how will I write index of? So what will you give it to the index of, and what will it give you? Just the reverse. You will give the character as an input, and it will give you the index of that character. Okay. The first occurrence it will give you. Okay, so then you also have last index of. You have two, the last occurrence of that character. So you have two functions, index of and last index of. So let's try to check this now. So if I come over here, how many e's am I having in my string? So if I say that, first let's check char at. First let's check char at. This out. Name. So as it is a function, you have to call it with the reference. Functions will always be called with the reference. So name dot char. You see char at. So what input you have to give it? Try to read these methods. Okay. What input you will give? An integer index. And after the colon, what is there? What will it give you? And after the hyphen is the name of the class of which this method is. So this method belongs to which class? String class. That this is how you interpret this. Okay. So this is the class in which this method has been defined. At time you inherit a method, right? So you can still use that method, but the method is not defined in that class, correct? So this char at function is defined in which class? See, what I mean by defined is, if I have a parent class and if I have a child class. Okay. So if I have class Amitabh and if class Amitabh has a home and Amitabh defines the body of the home. So and if I have a class Abhishek which inherits from Amitabh, we have to use the extends keywords in Java to inherit. How we had colon in C++, right? So here you have to use which keyword? So now, does Abhishek have home or not? Does Abhishek, can I call the home function from Abhishek? Yes, it is a public function, so it has been inherited. But is Abhishek the owner of the home? Who in which class the function has been defined? That class is the owner of that function. So which is the owner of that function? Amita. So that is what is showing over here. So when I say char at, who is the owner of the char at function? After the minus, after the hyphen, which is that class? See, similarly you have chars. I can call the chars function also, right? So I am calling the chars function using which reference? A reference of the string class. Name is a reference of which class? But does the char, so it can be used, but who's the owner entity of the chars? Char sequence. So it means string is somehow inheriting from that, right? So it means the string class is a child entity of the char sequence, right? So understand this. So whenever you all try to use any predefined classes, just hover and check. Okay. Get char is what? Get char is in which class? Get char is a function of which class? String class. Okay. So now I want char at. I want to discuss char at, right? So I say char at and I say index 3. What will this give you now? C, right? Let's check it out. So this should give me a C. Now let's check the reverse of it. So we have char at. So now let's check index of. So you see index of is all a function of which class? String, 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 string. Index of. And if I say index of 3, what will it give me? Oh, no, not index of 3. Index of, you have to pass a character. So what will you pass? Index of C is, which is the first occurrence of C, 3. Okay. And which is the last occurrence? Okay, if I say E, first occurrence of E is 4. 5 or 4? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 4, right? 4, right? So we'll give you 4. And which is the last occurrence of E? So if this is 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? So that for that function we have is dot last index. What, getting it? So you can pass a E over there again. So this will give you a 7. Okay. So let's say if yes, miss, 18 line. In this string, in this string, where is the first E occurring at which index? Which is at which index do you have the first E? Yes, miss. At index 4. Yes or no? And at which index is the last E occurring at? There are how many E's? There are how many E's in this string? 2. So at which index is the first E and which index is the last E? That is what it is telling. At the index of will give you the first occurrence of this character, and last index of will give you the last occurrence of this character. Okay. Oh, okay. Then we have other functions also. Let's just say name dot will give you a host list of functions over here. Okay. So we have done equals, right? And you can directly see here I am storing this string in a reference, right or wrong? I can use the string without the reference also. So if I have, is this not a string? Yes or no? Is this not a string? This is a string. So it is an object or it is a reference? It is an object, right? It is not a reference, but it is a part of the RHS. Now directly I can run the method on the object itself without creating a reference. So directly you can say Chris dot length, and you can sys out that. So this will also give you. Okay. Okay. So like this, directly you can use your string object, and you can execute the methods on that string object also. Okay. But if I am using this at many places, if I am doing this at many places, Christopher, then it's better advised that you store it into a reference and then play with the reference. Okay. One off case is okay. One off case is okay. Like let's say that our uh, emails are ending with inumtech.in. Emails are ending with which suffix? Inumtech.in. So I want to. So let's say I have emails of 3 employees. So I want to check whether these are valid emails of our company. So I have Alice at the rate inumtech.in, email 2, email 3, then Chris, and let's say Chris is over here email.com. So which so is email 1 a valid email, or let's say is email 1 a valid email of our company, and is email 2 a valid email, and email 3 a valid email? So we have a function which says ends with, okay? So I can just say ends with which string if the email ends with this. These are the last characters of that string. So what will this give you? So ends with gives returns what? What is the return type of ends with? Boolean means what will it give you? True or false. So what will this give you? This will give you a true or false. True. So I will store it into a Boolean result, right? And then I will say if result equals to true means this out what? Valid email. Else what will I this out? Invalid email. Correct? So what will it show over here if I comment out all the top, okay, so that we don't output is not cluttered. We have a simple output. I'll just save all this and I directly run this much. What will be the output? True over here. What will be the case? It is saying valid email. If I so now this is a hard coded string I've given, right? So you could have also done like this, right? String company name. If I would have done this over here and stored this into a string and then compare it with what? Company name. This is still give the same, still behaving the same, right? So either you can store it into a reference and always compare the reference, or if it is a one-off case, that I'm this code I'm writing only once and I will not be needing it anywhere else in the program. So you can hard code also. Getting it? But it's a good practice that is store into references. So what we do in the real time is we store all such strings, hard coded strings, into a separate class. Okay, so we store all these. No, normally these are stored in the enumerations, but you can store all these. Let's say you can say you make a class called as string constant, and in that string constant class you make them as public also, static also, final also. So public, static, and final, and then you store them. So hard coded strings you can directly store, and whenever you are giving a string as final, always add it in capital case. Now as this is a static variable, it can be accessed directly with the help of the class name. So you can directly say over here, this would be rather more appreciated. So all your string constants are in a separate file. No, so whenever you want to change the company name, directly you can come and change it over here. So if the company email address changes from Inumtech to Inumtech Private Limited .in, that is, you have one single place where you can make the changes. Control Z is to undo and Control Y is to redo. Okay, so just I just give a clean code practice. They're called as clean code practices. So whenever you write a code, always follow the clean coding practice. Okay. So try to research on this today. What are the clean code practices? What are the practices to write cleaner code? So this I have stored into a separate file. Okay. So I could have declared this over here also, use a hard coded string also, but this is the most clean code you can write over here, and it is final. So you cannot modify it over here. By saying final, this cannot be modified. So if someone comes and says that I want to change the company name from Inamtech to Google, it will not allow it to modify the company name. The reason being, it's a final and cannot be reassigned. It is saying you remove the final, then I will allow you to change it. And as it is final over there, you cannot make any modifications. Okay, so this is called as data encapsulation, data hiding feature of OOPS. Now that data is encapsulated in that class, so outsiders cannot manipulate it. They can only access it, they cannot manipulate it. This will come in detail later on. As of now, just give you all a heads up. Now this code I have written will give me, let's say what it gives, is giving valid email, right? If I do the same for email 3, what will it give me? It should give me invalid email, right? So here see what I am trying to do. This is very sort of very academic sort of code. This is not a professional code. Now let's see how the professional would write the same code. Okay, so there is true and there is truthy. There is what? True and there is truth. Okay, so I was just scrolling through the social media. I just came across some memes. So wherein this woman was telling she was just grooming the youngsters. There were boys in the audience, so she was grooming the boys. So she was telling that when a girl says maybe, maybe means no. So if the boy invites a girl out and the girl says maybe I'll come, so maybe means no. No means no. She say I will not come. No. So no means no. Maybe means no. True. I'll try also is no. So I'll try. So if the girl says I'll try means she's saying no. Because if she's really interested in coming, she will say a yes. Yes only means yes. Apart from that, all means no. So here we have true. So true means true. Then you have a any positive integer also means true. Any positive integer also means true. A non empty string also means true. Okay. A condition evaluating to true also means true. So you don't have to explicitly use a true keyword. Now, is this condition evaluating to true? This condition, is it evaluating to true? Yes or no? Then you don't have to store it into a variable. You can directly put the if condition to this, because I know it is going to return me a truthy value. So this will work the same. So you have reduced the space complexity of the algorithm. You have reduced the space complexity by reducing one variable. How much byte does a boolean take? 1 byte. So you have reduced 1 byte from your code right now, and every byte matters in real time. So now if I run this code, this will still give you the same output. Got it? Okay. What if I would have said over here minus 99? So is this not evaluate? Okay. So there's a if condition over here. This is okay. This isn't evaluating. Cannot convert from int to boolean. Okay. So the it needs explicit boolean value. So if I say like this, let's try to do this. If it works. Cannot cast from into boolean. It is not able to cast it. Okay. Let's come over here. So directly this will return you a true value. You can put that as a if condition without storing into a separate variable. Okay. And then what we had discussed last time, do not, you can replicate or replace this traditional if else with the ternary operator. So now this all, if I can write in one single line, means I am displaying something based on a condition. So first I will go and check for the condition. So this will either give me a true or false, right? Yes, no. So if it gives me a true, then what to do? And if it gives me a false, then what to do? So if it gives me a true, display this, and if it gives you a false, you display this. So the same code which took 6 to 7 lines to write now is written in one single line. Is that making sense? So this will work the same way. Okay, I'll just add an extra L after it so that you all know this output which is displaying is from this line of code which we wrote over here. It is not from the previous buffer stored in the memory. See, it's the invalid email. Let's check email 1. Is it valid? Yes, email 1 is valid. Okay, so try to write your code as compact as possible. Okay, this is good for understanding for beginners, but in the corporate you can try to, because they are all professionals working over there, so this would be much more helpful. Okay, so which function did we study? Ends with. Okay, so the reason I was telling is you can use the string in its original form also and query the methods on that, or store it into a reference and query the reference. If the string is being used again and again, then better to point it to a reference. If it is a one time usage, then you can hard code the string also. But if you are storing a hard coded string, it's better that you store all of them into a single file, name it as string constants, make all the strings as. Why static? Is there compulsory that you should make an object to access static data? What is static method in Java and C++? Umar? Yeah. So did I create the object of this class string constants to access company name? Directly I accessed it, right? Because it was a static. If I would remove the static, it would give me an error. If I would remove the static and save, there will be a red dot over here. So you got the red cross, and when you come over here, it will say that cannot make a static reference to the non-static. Okay, so that's why you are making it public also, static also. And why have I made it final? Yeah, you cannot modify it over here. You can only access it. And whenever you have a final data, you always add in capital, all capital. Okay, So as we had discussed the naming convention, so naming conventions we had discussed. If you are naming a package, all small. While naming a package, see, I'm saying day 5, day 6, day 7 string. Is there any capital? The package name all strong. For a final, all caps. For a variable or a method, yes, camel case. Camel case means first character small, then subsequent character capital. Okay, this should be subconscious in your mind while sharing a screen. Okay, now how those who are riding a motorcycle with gear, so while riding they don't even know in which gear the motorcycle is in. Subconscious mind is changing the gears. So like that, this should be in your subconscious memory that I have to write this. It should never happen that I ask you to make share your screen. I say write a class, and you write a class like this. Say sir, I forgot to make it capital. This shouldn't. Your mind should be trained in a way that I'm writing a class after I write it in camel case. And when we write the class, we write it in which case? Pascal case. Each letter capital. Okay. So follow these. These are good coding practices. Okay. So what you are researching today is today's research topic is clean code practices, right? What clean code? Okay. What practices do professionals follow to write what clean code? So try to research them and try to follow those practices. And this is for I'll take those candidates who are going to target 3 plus 4 plus years of experience. For them, it is a must because we are going to show that we've been working in the industry for the past 3 4 years. So imagine the expectation from such candidates in the interview. And if such a candidate is asked to share their screen in the virtual interview and he's writing the class test like this and he's showing that I'm 3 years experienced person, straight away it will be rejected. So practice, search for this and let me know what you all researched on the clean code practices. Okay, so this now let's check which or more functions do we have. We have the stereotype function. They are not at all complicated, simple functions we have. So is name still there or I have commented name? As it is commented, it will not be referred. So I'll make it again. Okay, so string name equals to, let's take a bigger string so that we can play around with it. Okay, okay. Now this is one single string. I want to, this is a sentence, right? Multiple strings, right? What is a tree and what is a forest? Tree is single tree, and what is forest? Multiple trees. So similarly, a string which having one word and is a multiple is a sentence, right? So my name is, now this is a sentence. Can you tell me how many words are there in this sentence? So uh, six, right? So one of the traditional way of doing it is you will iterate through the entire list, entire string for integer I equals to 0, I less than name dot length I plus plus, correct? And then what will you do if the is this a is this a space? So how do I get it? This is which index? This is which m is at which index? So how will I compare now? Is there space at zero index, space at one index, which is a character at which is a character at zero index? Is it a space which is a character at one index? So how do I fetch the character at zero index? How do I fetch the character at zero index? Do you want me to write like this? Name of zero equal to space like this? Name of I. Okay, name of I. Very good. Hmm. Then what is this function used to do? What is the use of this function then? So this is for array. For a string, what will you do? Char at, right? At which index? I. If it equals to a space, then what will you do? You'll take a counter increment, right? You'll take a counter and you'll inside to zero, and the counter will increment when you get a space. And at the end, what will you come and display? Number of words are how many? So this, what is the value of counter over here? What will be the value of counter? Counter will be one, two, three, 4, 5. But what is the actual value I have? 6. So I'll do what? Counter plus. So this, okay. What is there? Where's the issue over here? Okay, this 0, 1. Okay. So right click and you run and you get the output. So this is okay for academics guys who are looking for the output. But as professionals, you got to get the output and as fast as possible. This is taking a lot of time. It is iterating through the entire. So for that simple, we have a function. Okay, so instead of going this long cut, we can simply write it in one line. So name dot split, name dot split the string on which character? Space. So it will store this sentence now in a array of strings. You store it where? So what happens now when I split this into space? So my goes at which index of the array? So if I this is my string now. This is my string. Okay, and I split this on the space. So it will convert into an array of string. So which index is my at? Name at is at is at 2 and Mahindra at and Singh. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I say what is this array name? What is the name of this array? Words. So if I say words of 3, what will it display me? This is words of 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if I come here and I display after this plate, if I this out words of, now this is array, right? So directly you can use the array which we are using all this while from C days. So it is saying Mahindra, correct? My, why is it showing my? Okay, I said zero. I wrote zero over there. Okay. So now once I have got this, I can directly copy this, and what? How will I display it? Number of words are what? Tell me, guys. I need your presence of minds over here. Words dot length. This is the array, right? And how do you get the length of the array? By length keyword or length function? Got it? So you could have saved this line directly by writing this entire code in one line. You can say to get the length of the string sys out. Directly you could have done this number of words are and concatenate it with name dot split. What will this give you? Name dot split. This will give you an array, right? Of that array directly you can say the length. Not necessary to store it into a reference in Java. Directly you can play around with that data and just if it is not being used henceforth. If the words array is not going to be used and you're just writing the words array to find the length of the string, that's the only purpose. So you can directly do it over here. So name dot split and whatever array you get dot length. This will work perfectly fine. I'll add the extra ease. So for that you all have the assurity that the output has come from this line. So one single line. So imagine how complex coding we were doing all this while lengthy coding. Now Java has a huge library of ready-made functions. With the help of that, all the code becomes easier. Argument which was running for the past 3-4 years that Python is trending because Python has a lot of rich support for functions. For every task, you have a function in Python. So you don't write the complex code; you just call the function. So Java also is on the same track. Okay, so writing lengthy code is called verbose. Okay, the English word for writing lengthy code is verbose. So Java also doesn't support of writing all this lengthy logic. The code in Java also is quite simple. Crisp. In one line, you can get the entire task done. Okay, so it's you'll have to practice this. Okay, now come out of this style of programming, writing for loops and conditions. This increases the complexity of the code, the time complexity, the number of iterations increase. Instead, go with this cleaner code. That will require practice. You have to research which function does what. Okay, is there a library function which I can use to achieve the same code? So, like we did over here. Okay, so lengthy code can be shrunk into one single line of code. So, using this ternary operator is widely used. Okay, we rarely use this operator in our graduation, first year, second year. Now, going forward, if you have the confidence, okay, no need to show off. But if you feel that I am comfortable with the ternary operator more, see this. This is looking so like how many lines it is taking? It's taking around 8 to 9 lines of code, and the same is being done in one line. So if you are comfortable with this style of programming, always go with this style of programming. Okay, let's research for more string functions. So what is the string we are having? This is an array, right? Which is the string is name. So let's see what we can do with the name string, name dot. So I give you the string function. Okay, then if you are going to search whether does the string my name is Mahendra Singh Dhoni contain the word is? Yes or no? So let's check. So name dot contains. You see. So does the name contain is? True or false? So what will this give you? This will give you a true, right? So directly you can print that now. So what you can do, this out, check for this. If yes, you can say string present, okay, or string found, or colon, you can say string not found. So is the string found, is the